Welcome back to OpenLine. We are talking about finding a job in 2016. More people are hiring. Some people are looking for jobs still, which is good. Are career fairs worth it?
So, one of the things that's great, Channel 5 has been a fantastic partner. Every July we do at Lipscomb University, the largest job fair in Nashville. Last year we had almost 80 employers there. And so we've done this for a number of years together and seen the highs and lows of the economy, and people and employers and job seekers show up. The one universal fact is you're not going to more than likely walk out of there with a job. And that's not the point of the career fair, oddly enough. It is to meet a human being at that company. That company is going to have representatives there. Your goal is not to give out 80 resumes. Your goal is to find 10 employers. You want a human being. You want to get that guy's card. Maybe even have a conversation. Maybe not. They may not remember you. But the key is to get their business card, follow up the next day. Hey, I met you at the career fair at Lipscomb's Allen Arena. We talked briefly about this job, attaches my resume, would love to find some time to follow up. That is the game.
There you go.
And so many people, like literally I watch them, they'll just slide resumes, go down the row and just drop off resumes. And I go, again, that's activity and not results. And so I think that's my point of view, and as a guy who's put on probably 20 job fairs in my life and organized the job seekers, that's what employers say too. I mean, their hiring happens because they also are out there making friends and making networking in the community, and that's what they're trying to do.
We've framed this conversation for the last 30 minutes about maybe people who don't have a job but are looking for a job. But right now, where the economy is good, we got to change our mindset a little bit. This is a great time to have a good job and to even look for a better one.
That's right. So what's interesting, I think when the economy is good, and I would say for, we've got 5% employment, at probably 3.5, 4, you're kind of at full employment. So we're getting close to that, thankfully. People get kind of fat and happy. I mean, they're real happy. I mean, they say, hey, things are going good, and my company's doing great, and our stock price is up, and I got my bonus last year. And they're not doing the long play. I mean, that's the thing is it's 40 years for most of us. And maybe some of us get young and rich, I don't know, but most of it's 40 years. And you got to think about it in terms of, like, when things are good, let's say I'm a manager at my company, doing really well, but the guy above me is a lifer. He's not going anywhere. But your competitor is looking for somebody. You need to be okay with, this is the time, when things are good, this might be the time to change. The economic drivers are such that you might be in demand somewhere else way more than you are here, and you got to go, hey, in 2 years from now, where am I going to buy a company versus if I change jobs?
So you might have to get a little uncomfortable.
You might, and I think the other thing is people stop networking. It's the most bizarre thing. I know at 15 years, I've seen people 3 or 4 times change jobs, and a couple of layoffs in there and reorgs in there, and I can guarantee they surface when they need something.
Yes.
And the guy in recruiting, they surface on me. I'm just on their hit list. I understand that. But they're not winning. It's not a long-term play. They're not having conversations with managers at other companies or networking proactive. They're not doing those things that's a long-term win. And so continue to invest, I don't know, an hour a week. I've got friends who are fully embedded and fully happy, and they make a point. They will meet with somebody or make a point 2 coffees a month and spend some minimum of time on LinkedIn, keep their network, continue to reach out and connect with people.
Because you never know.
You never know.
You never know what's going to come the next day.
We're always one day away from needing a paycheck.
Isn't that the truth? Hey, we have some phone callers on the line. Let's go to Rosalie. Miss Rosalie, go ahead with your question, please.
Oh, yes. I would like a job at Vanderbilt University. I've actually taught at 3 universities in Canada, and I've taught in Cumberland University in Nashville. And I was trying to get through the Vanderbilt Human Resources Network, and somehow I never could get anyone on the phone in the HR office. So would the best thing to do, I live in Nashville, I live near Centennial Park. Should I just walk over to one of the departments? Like my area of teaching is art history and English, and should I just walk over there to apply for a job?
Great question.
Great question. I would discourage the old school walk in and fill out an application or try to. I applaud the initiative, which is exactly what she needs to be doing, maybe in a different way. I would make a phone call. I would call the head of the department or 2 or 3 other people in the department and go, hey, can we just find some time? Hey, I'm an art history teacher. You're an art. We live across the street from one another. Can we find some time to talk and learn about one another? By the way, I am looking for a job. I think that's a much better play. Vanderbilt, I know the folks there in recruiting really well. I've known them for a number of years. They've got such a just foundationally great brand in Nashville. Everybody and their brother applies there. They just frankly don't have the time. It's a resourcing issue. I mean, I know a lot more about theirs. It's a resourcing issue. They only have time, frankly, to call the people that are the 1% of the 1% that absolutely fit. And it's even on their end, the managers that screaming loudest, because they've got only so many recruiters and so much work to do. I mean, which doesn't make somebody like her feel great.
Not at all.
And it's no knock on Vanderbilt. Everybody there is, any large company with any brand in Nashville is there right now. Because they're all great folks. I've known them for a number of years over there.
But it goes back to finding that person in the department, finding their email, finding their phone number.
Because if they're looking for a art history, man, I'm saying I put myself on the boat of the head of that department going, we need a part-time or full-time art history professor. I posted the job with HR. They might be sending me one person every 2 or 3 weeks, but I've got this person that's reached out to me that I've gotten to know. Who are they going to hire? They've got a relationship. Some person from HR is frankly a sheet of paper, and you may or may not be happy. They may or may not be a good fit, but I think it's a relationship piece. I would imagine that world particularly is very relational.
Right.
And also, it can't be that there's a lot of people who do that.
Right, exactly.
Those are lifetime jobs. People get tenured and they don't leave.
Yeah.
But I think that's, same for her as anybody. Don't be afraid to make a friend, and find. She knows exactly, the great thing for her, she knows exactly where she works. She can figure out in about 10 seconds who the people are over there. I'd call them and send them an email. If I'm her, I'd call them and send them an email and go, let's get coffee.
Okay, well there you go, Rosalie. Hopefully that will help you. Monique's also on the line for us. Monique, what's your question tonight?
Yes, I have a son going to school.
Oh, Monique, you're going in and out.
I want to know, the little jobs used to get when I was a skater,
Monique, sorry, Monique, I'm going to put you on hold, and maybe our producer can talk to you. You're going in and out, so we can't understand your question. So
I just
maybe
got sun out of that. Yeah, sorry.
So maybe Courtney can talk to you and pass along your question, and then we can answer it. Hopefully that will work. Or we can get a better connection, because we certainly want to help. We talked about LinkedIn. We talked about networking. What are some do's and don'ts in the interview process that you coach people on, or you see terrible mistakes happen?
This sounds terrible. One of the downfalls of the internet age is that we have access to information, and by that information, we then overthink the whole exercise. and so many jobs, I can pin it on somebody who's overanalyzed why you're asking your interview.
Yeah.
I want to know. I've looked on it. Well, I know why you're asking me that question. Why are you asking? I know, and so I'm going to give you the answer I think you want to hear.
Yes.
And so they think of it as a game, and I think the moment you start seeing the interview process as a game, you've completely lost your authenticity, and frankly, your differentiator, because everybody else interviewing has probably read the same darn blog and read why they asked this. I mean, Glassdoor has gotten so finite. They actually have it where they'll tell you the questions that the company asks. Like, people at that company, they ask this question. So here's the thing, just be authentic and be honest, and I'm going to tell you that's way more differentiating than people realize. I mean, obviously, be prepared. Know that people are going to tell me about yourself, and have a professional answer. I don't care about your soccer mom. You take your kids to, you go to church on Sunday. I'm saying, tell me about okay, I've been doing this for 5 years. I'm really excited by project management. I have a deep skill set in IT project management, and I've used these tools, and I'm really excited about the opportunity here. And also, this is the other thing that blow your mind. I mean, people haven't researched the company and the role. These are easy things to find out.
Yeah.
Don't shoot yourself in the foot, because the other end of the spectrum are people who've just got more self-confidence than sense. That hey, I'm good off the cuff, and I'm great in interviews, and people love me, and I get so many people who are just so casual with it that it's off-putting. I mean, I get you're comfortable, that's great, but it's almost like ridiculous. You talk, that guy just, does he not want the job? Does he not care?
Yeah.
If he's this casual with me, how's he going to be the client in their first meeting? There needs to be, we need to build up to this. We don't walk in as buddies, And sometimes it's about toning it up and toning it down, and practice is the only best answer for that. I mean, you can certainly, I've heard people in front of a mirror record yourself. I just am the opinion, how quickly can you get conversational? It's kind of that's where you need it, where you're comfortable. People know your resume, know your skill sets, know what you want, 3 or 4 bullet points you want to walk in, and have it as a conversation. The other is a closing statement, which is really bizarre. I can't tell you how many times I have been at the end of an interview and we have a great conversation. I'm thinking, I go, I like this person. I don't know that they want this job. Like, literally, we'll walk out. I have summarized to many a manager, had a great conversation with Carrie. I think she's got a great skill set, but I'm not sure she wants this job. And the thing is that, particularly sales jobs, this is a classic sales thing. You're not trying to close me. I'm not going to give you an offer letter, but all you need is politely ask, okay, hey, really had a great conversation, enjoyed meeting with you. Assuming you see a fit, I'd love to know what are the next step in the process. A, you know what's next. Right. So you're satisfied a little bit. What should we do next? And two, is there anything you've heard here that would prevent you from moving me forward in the process? I mean, I know I may not be a perfect fit, so I want to make sure if there's anything you haven't heard that you need to hear, let's talk about it, because I want to get that on the top.
There. Yeah.
And so that honesty, and it really goes a long way.
I like that.
So, but as far as don'ts, I mean, there's the obvious things. We don't wear a suit, turn your phone off, which is interesting. Something people have gotten. It's gotten so pervasive that I found myself actually checking a phone in an interview with somebody, and I go, I'm sorry, I'm sitting here checking my phone. I put it up, and I go, oh, that's just becomes such like your third hand, you know. But there's generationally, I mean, I don't have a lot of like kids that wear flip-flops in interviews and stuff.
People know better.
I think people get the message. I mean, that's just all there is to it. I found
out Monique's question. She was asking about assessment tests and why are they given for minimum wage jobs, like retail jobs and fast food jobs? Why are you giving these tests?
So tests. So I'm trying to come up with that. So assessments, in their ideal state, they have this assessment, and they look at people who perform an assessment, and they can validate that people who score this score. So some of them do it. I've seen them that do colors, do shapes, their output is, or percentage fit. So that's simplest, percentage fit. They've taken this assessment, they have this assessment, they give it all to all their top performers and go, hey, here's our differentiating factors of top performers. Let's go assess everybody against that. So minimum wage, retail is classical. There's actual companies, that's all they do is build assessments for retail hiring. And what they'll do is figure out that people who score 75% above perform better in this role. So to automate the process as opposed to wasting, it still costs time to have me talk to the company, real dollars. They go, well, when you apply, just fill out this assessment. And so what we'll do, quite crassly, is if it's 75, everything below automatically gets declined. Everything above that is green lighted. You can go talk to them. I know companies, they do it red, yellow, and green. So they know that in a bell curve, maybe in a bell curve world, that 80% of the people in red will come out red, we decline them. Managers are not allowed to hire reds. Wow. Other companies, the next 10% is yellow. You've got to rationalize. They have to interview well, but they're not. And then green, assessment says they're going to work out well. Don't fumble it. That's really, don't screw this up. We need more greens around here. It is process to the nth degree. It is dehumanizing. I understand that. It is validated. There's the problem, scientifically validated. They've had lawsuits around this. There is, they've got a level against kind of disparate impact. So certain, if you've got age, race, gender disparities in the outcome of the test, they've got to level that out. The darndest thing is they're pretty accurate. That's the thing.
And that's hard to argue with.
That's hard to argue. The outcome is positive and it's efficient. And that's like every other business. It's going to be that way.
It's all about money. It's about the bottom line.
I don't necessarily, even our company, even if you're a relational person and you've come in through the CEO and you've been pre-blessed to be hired, you still have to take the assessment. We've got to have it on file. And they're wildly interesting, by the way, on this end. And they're incredibly, I took one and I went, after a year being there, I said, well, I would like to see my results, because I kind of interpret, it's me. I had to look at it and I go, that's absolutely what I do well, and that's absolutely when.
I will assume you got a green light.
I hope I did. Maybe, I don't know, but they work.
Yeah.
And that's the downfall of that.
All right, well, I'm glad we could answer Monique's question. Okay, we're going to take another quick break. We are coming right back. Stay with us for more Open Line.